Season's greetings from Emirates Stadium, where it's that funny bit between Christmas and New Year where nobody really knows what day of the week it is or quite what to do with themselves. Fortunately, football always comes to the rescue, and although we've had to wait slightly longer this year for our Arsenal festive fixture, it is finally here, and your Matchday show has gift-wrapped a trip to Selhurst Park for you this evening as Arsenal take on Crystal Palace. It's Thursday, by the way, just in case you're wondering. And wherever you are tonight, thanks for joining us on a landmark evening for Arsene Wenger, who, with this match, will equal Sir Alex Ferguson's record of 810 games in the Premier League. Well, tonight's Matchday analyst is a man who's made almost as many appearances on our Matchday show. We're delighted to be joined by Gunners legend Perry Groves. Perry, Merry Christmas. Welcome.
Nice, you make me sound like I was Herbert Chapman signing rather than George Graham. I'm not that old.
You're not, but you've done a lot of these shows. We love you. That's why you're here, isn't it?
No one else can do it.
That's right. That's what it is. 810 games at the top of English football. Arsene is matching that record tonight against the Eagles and will surpass it on New Year's Eve against West Bromwich Albion. I mean, that is quite a remarkable achievement, Perry, isn't it?
It is. Just shows you the quality that he has. When he came here in 1996, it was Arsene who? And then everyone was like, well, taking a chance. David Dean obviously knew a lot about Arsene, came in from Japan. And he was probably... I'd say he's probably 10 years ahead of his time when he first came here. You after players who worked under him, like the old guard like Ray Parlour, Paul Merson, Nigel Winterburn, Steve Bold, obviously who's coach now, and they just said you had so many different ideas. And then what happens is you can't stay 10 years in front. In the end, people copy you and they catch up.
Yeah, well, we'll hear a little bit more about the boss's landmark moment a little bit later on. Of course, tonight it's only the points that will matter to Arsene Wenger. And as always, we're giving you the chance to share your points of view with us on social media. And what with it being the holiday season, who better, see what we've done there, who better to look after all your comments this evening than Nicole Holiday herself. Good evening and Merry Christmas.
Good evening, very clever.
Thank you.
I hope you all had a great Christmas, and as always we want to hear from you guys at home. So tonight's question is, what would be your 10-word team talk for CPFC v AFC? So get your tweets in now using the hashtag ArsenalNation, and I'll read through some of the best ones a bit later on.
Thank you, Nicole, and happy holidays to you. The last game that Arsenal played, what a Christmas cracker that was, Perry. Were you here for that one?
I was, and I said beforehand, people said, what do you think the scores will be? I said 4-3 either way, because both teams brilliant going forward.
I predicted that.
And both teams struggled defensively. And when we were 2-0 down, then it got a little bit, so could have got hostile. But the lads have shown brilliant in every game that I've seen them play, good team spirit and good resilience, and they had to do that against Liverpool.
Yeah, and they'll be desperate to string together a series of positive results, won't they?
Yeah, we're not in a bad range. One defeat last 9 games, that was against Manchester United, and I thought we played probably our best football of the season against Manchester United for about 45 minutes, where if it wasn't for David De Gea, then it could have been probably 6-7-3 to us. But yeah, we've been consistent, but away from home, we haven't been as good.
Well, this is what I was going to say. The Gunners have only won 2 of their 9 games on the road this season, so why do you think that is? Why have we been so consistent at home, but then away, the switch goes off and it's a different ball game, really?
We don't start with the same intensity. At home, this is our domain, our territory, and the onus is on the home team to take initiative, and that's what we do very well. I can tell, you're probably the same, within the first 5 minutes, if we're going to play well throughout the game, because our passing's sharp, our closing down's sharp, there's an intensity about us. Away from home, subconsciously, because the onus isn't on you to go and force the game, you tend just to start a little bit slower and work your way into the game rather than taking the game by the scruff of the neck. So I think we just need to be a bit more positive.
And is that easy to do as a player? Can you suddenly change that mentality and get off the bus away from home and go, right, this is how we need to start tonight? Well,
it has to come not just from the individual, it has to come from all the players, and mainly the senior players, and obviously from the management as well, to say, look, I want you to be sharp in your closing down. I want you to win. And it's an old thing as well, Nigel, it's first tackle, first header, first pass, you know what I mean, first positive run, and that gets you into that positive frame of mind.
Yeah, OK. All right, then, well, we know, as far as the team news goes, that there will likely be one change this evening to the Arsenal starting 11. Nacho Monreal out with that ankle injury that he picked up against Liverpool. Let's find out the rest of the team news, though, right now. Waiting pitch side for us at Selhurst Park are your match commentators Josh James and Dan Roebuck.
Thanks, Nigel. Yes, we've got our passports. We are south of the river at Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. In truth, though, Josh, the fixture computer, if there is such a thing, has been fairly kind to Arsenal because we didn't play Boxing Day, we didn't play the weekend prior to that. Is that slight advantage to Arsenal?
Well, no excuses, you would have thought. This is, in effect, Arsenal's Boxing Day fixture, coming a couple of days afterwards, catching up with everyone else. But you're right, we played the Friday before the Saturday round, so they've been spaced out very nicely so far. So freshness, you know, it shouldn't be an excuse tonight. Fresh legs and a little bit of rotation as well. So yeah, we can't really use the fixture pile-up as an excuse tonight.
As Nigel was mentioning, no Nacho Monreal, out injured, so it's a reshuffle at the back, Josh.
Yeah, back to a 3-4-3 formation, we think, tonight. In fact, it's the first time since February that we've started a league game without Nacho Monreal, so it'd be unusual to see that defence without him. Callum Chambers comes in to fill in that back three. Also in return for Sead Kolasinac, who's had a bit of a rest, bit of his own winter break, if you like, from that left wing-back position. And also Shkodran Mustafi back from injury. He came on against Liverpool. He's back in the starting lineup as well.
So 3 changes for Arsenal against Crystal Palace. And finally, on the Eagles, Roy Hodgson has come in and more than steadied the ship because they were awful at the start of the season. Remarkably, they are outside of the relegation zone now.
Yeah, you mentioned that fixture computer. It could have been kinder and had us against Palace early in the season because they lost the first 7 games without scoring a goal. And now they're 8 unbeaten. It's funny how things turn around, and we've got them twice in quick succession. We've got them in January as well. Maybe not a great time to play them. They're on great form, but we need to improve our way form, especially at places like this. Teams in the bottom half of the table, that's where we've struggled so far this season. The manager knows that, the players know that. This is a great chance to put that right.
Big opportunity for the Gunners, and we'll be back with you at 8 o'clock for full live commentary.
Thanks very much, chaps. See you in just a little while. Perry, not only impressed with the team selection tonight, but also the background music. Big fan of Paloma Faith.
Oh, I do love a bit of Paloma. And I'm impressed with Dan's, again, is he 17? Stay now, Parker there. Very festive.
Well, it is festive, isn't it? Let's have a look at the team then, Perry. There they are. There's 3-4-3. We've reverted to that. With those players coming back in, Callum Chambers, Sead Kolasinac and Mustafi back in the starting 11 as well.
Yeah, I like better with the 3, to be honest. I think it gives us a bit more solidity. It suits Bellerin and Kolasinac because they're wing-backs rather than full-backs. The surprise probably is Callum Chambers, coming in. So he's obviously been acquitting himself well in training because he said that Rob Holding was in front of him earlier on in the season. Mustafi will play in the centre because Koscielny has probably got a little bit more pace. So, and with the threat of Benteke as well, I like the fact that we got the 3 centre halves there.
Yeah, you think that'll make everything a little bit more solid for us. Jacko and Wilshere in the midfield again?
Yeah, it will probably be, obviously they're playing in the centre of the 4, and I imagine that Zach will play a little bit deeper than Jack because either one will be looking to be the playmaker and get on the ball and get our passing movements going forward, which I think he can do quite easy because he's got that much talent.
Yeah, OK then. Well, in the breakdown after the Liverpool game, Adrian Clark made the point that Jack Wilshere was the engine behind our comeback and that he's improving with every performance. Right now, let's hear from the Arsenal number 10 himself.
Yeah, I played a few games this year in Europa League, Carabao Cup, but I've only played a couple in the Premier League. You know, in the Premier League is a different ball game. The intensity is higher. The pace of the game, you have to do everything. And sometimes in Europa League we're playing against teams where we're just constantly on the ball. But in the Premier League you don't have the ball. You have to defend. You have to fight to win the ball back. And so I'm getting there definitely, but I think there's a little bit more to come. As I said before, I played a lot in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup, but I wanted to play in the Premier League, and now I've got my first few starts. I want to push on and, you know, add some goals, maybe add some assists and stay in this team. And then, you know, and international football is not till March anyway, so if I can stay in the team and have a successful period in the team, then maybe. Last year I played a lot of games at Bournemouth. You know, I got back to a good level of fitness. You know, that's when I felt like I'd come back. You know, I missed a year in the Premier League, and to miss a year in the Premier League is a long time. So I had to go out and get some game time. I did that. You know, I've sort of found out what it takes to come back and be at the right fitness level in the Premier League, which is tough. You know, so I felt last year was a big step for me. But to be back at Arsenal and playing in the Premier League is what I wanted to do, and that was the aim of last year, you know, to get some games and then come back here and play, so I'm happy. when I used to watch my game, you know, it just seemed to be like every time when I picked the ball up, I wanted to run with it. I wanted to hurt the opposition. But now I can pick my times. You know, I don't have to do it every time. Sometimes you can just pass and then move into a better position. And you know, I just feel like, as well, my time at Bournemouth helped me. You know, I improved defensively. I'm not one who just dives into tackles now. You know, I try and pick my opportunities to win the ball back. So I feel good. You know, I'm happy with the way things are going. I'm fit and I'm enjoying playing here.
Well, it's great to see Jack back, isn't it? Let's have a look at his scouting report with Jack's recent action for us. He's completed 90 minutes in each of our last 3 Premier League games. Fantastic passing accuracy in those games as well. No goals or assists in those games, and only 2 key passes. I mean, the last stat pair is based on his position now, isn't it? I mean, he says he used to want to run with it a bit more, but now he's kind of disciplined himself, I guess, and that would explain that final stat there.
Yeah, it was lies, damn lies, and statistics, aren't they? Yeah. So whichever way you want to read it. And the reason he's got no goals or assists is because he's playing deeper. Yeah. When he's playing in Europa League, he was playing in one of the 3 positions behind the main striker. So he getting himself forward more, linking up with Giroud, who's playing in those games, little like 1-2s around the box. Now he's got to be more disciplined, he's a little bit deeper. And I'm pleased that he said about, in the past, he used to want to run with the ball all the time, take people on. Maybe because of his injuries, he hasn't got that little bit of acceleration off the mark. Now he has to be cute with his passing, but he's very good. He lets the ball run across him well, he passes forward quickly, he passes through to, even if it's a 10 or 15 yard pass forward, it gets the other, our team pushing up quicker, and it doesn't get the other team chance to set. So he's got to adapt his game. And I think he can be as good in there as what Santi Cazorla was, because we've missed Santi that much. Jack is that good. He's got so much natural ability, and he doesn't have to dive into tackles anymore. I'd rather, if there was a 50-50 or a 60-40 in his favour, that he didn't not jump out of the tackle, but he just closed down rather than try and win the ball, because I'd rather he did that and he played for the next 6 games than get himself injured and be out for the next 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? So he's just getting older, getting a bit wiser. Yeah,
his decision making's better as his games get more and more, I guess, don't they?
Definitely, that's what happens when, and the position is different. As he said there, he's more of a pass and a link-up player. He can still let it run across him and, you know, glide forward for like 10 yards, but he's the continuity player now to get us going, moving forward quickly.
577 days since he made his first Premier League start for... Well, he made his first Premier League start for Arsenal, is what I'm trying to say, after 577 days since that injury. And that was against West Ham, of course. He was unlucky that night, wasn't he? Because he could have scored that night. And as you say, he had some experience in the Europa League for us as well. His time at Bournemouth, he mentioned, had really helped him out. And, of course, we've changed our system since Jack went away to Bournemouth, haven't we? So is he a name that you see on the team sheet first and foremost now in that new system?
Well, now that he's fit, the Europa League... Obviously, a lot of Arsenal fans have quite liked it because they're going to different places, but it did us and him a massive favour because he played in all the games. He played the 90 minutes in all the 6 games and the Carabao Cup as well. Yeah, yeah. So if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't. His fitness levels wouldn't be where they are. But again, he mentioned there the intensity of the Europa League. It goes up probably by 15-20% in the Premier League. So he still, as a player, even though you're playing one Europa League, you still think, right, can I contain? So can I have that intensity in the Premier League and go for 90 minutes? And he's gone through 3 90 minutes, which is testament to his conditioning, the work he's been doing on the training ground with the physios. And he'll get more confident in his body, and his fitness levels will rise playing in the Premier League, and his mind will get sharper. Yeah. Because as you said there, you have to think 10%,
no time 15%. To think,
exactly, but he's better like that because his football brain is that quick. Yeah. So it's all looking, you know, for the horrendous run that he's had, it's all looking pretty good for Jack at the moment.
Because people were worried about competition for places. Where does Jack fit in at Arsenal? And, well, he's on the team sheet again tonight and he's building up that run, isn't he? I mean, where do you think there is a competition for that spot, or has Jack made it his own recently?
Well, no, obviously there's Aaron Ramsey will come back in because he's playing with Xhaka. Then you've got El Neni, obviously playing at Coquelin, can play in there. But even if Jack gets himself back to 90% of what he was, he's better than any midfield player in the country in that position. Fernandinho at Man City, obviously, is pivotal to them, but especially English. Yeah. If he's fit, then Jordan Henderson is playing in that position he's a better player than Jordan Henderson. So as long as he keeps himself on a nice run of games, and he gives you good balance in there as well.
Okay, may see him on that plane to Russia just yet. You never know. Well, we mentioned at the start of the show that tonight's fixture sees Arsene Wenger equal Sir Alex Ferguson's record of 810 matches in the Premier League. Now, Arsene has faced Crystal Palace 12 times along the way, winning 8, drawing 3, and losing just the 1. All right, now let's hear from the boss ahead of his 13th encounter with the Eagles.
Arsene, this is the week in which you will match and then eclipse Sir Alex Ferguson's Premier League record. I know you're not one to dwell on those personal milestones, but this is a really proud moment, surely.
Look, it is just, first of all, I think a consequence of dedication to my job I love, and as well to luck, because this club trusted me always, and to loyalty, and as well to sacrifice of your life. You know, that's what this job is about, and to health, because I didn't miss a single game in 21 years. So that, of course, you need to be healthy and lucky for that.
You talk about dedication. What else does it say about your character to last this long?
I think it's about loyalty, finding the qualities. I think I work in this job for values were absolutely vital to me, you know, and I found these values at this club, and I believe as well the ultimate target in life is to make people happy, and that's what I try to do.
When you think about how long managers last these days, do you consider yourself a rarity?
Yes, but you know, we come always back to the same thing. I believe that the most important is that competent people and stability, technical stability, is absolutely vital for a club. And you need people who carry the values through the generations at the club. In my case, of course, I have the luck to be here for a long time. I'm a carrier of the values of what is important and what has always been vital for this club, and that's why it is important that inside the club the stability is important.
Well, congratulations to the boss on matching Sir Alex Ferguson's record tonight. And of course, he'll surpass it on New Year's Eve when we travel to West Bromwich Albion. Perry, I think I was reading that the next longest-serving manager in the Premier League is Eddie Howe at Bournemouth, which is about 5 or 6 seasons. So, I mean, it's going to be an impossible one to match, isn't it?
Considering Eddie Howe's probably had 2 of those seasons, coming from League One into the Championship, into obviously like the Premier League. I think with Arsene, he's seen different eras, and people forget that coming from Highbury to the Emirates, where we had to sell our best player season after season to your main rivals. Obviously, the stadium needed funding, and we still managed to get in the Champions League, apart from obviously last season. So his consistency has been amazing, and he'll be up there probably with, I personally think Herbert Chapman and George Graham are the 3 greatest managers we've had. He probably would say he's been the greatest manager we've had. Yeah,
with the legacy that he's going to leave behind as well. I mean, definitely with Herbert Chapman, and we talk about Herbert Chapman a lot when we do on the tours here at Emirates Stadium, don't we, and what he brought to the English game. And Arsene has done exactly the same, hasn't he? He's changed the game.
Yeah, he was innovative, and I say, when he came in 1996, 10 years ahead in front of everybody, people catch up, and he's had to see the power change as well in football. From used to be with the club and the managers and the players were sort of second on the list. Now the players have the power and the managers and the club have less power. So he's actually seen a big change around in that and had to handle it as well. So he won't be probably revered as much as what he should be when he's not here anymore. Maybe in 10 years' time, and people look back. I said to my 2 boys, my 2 boys have seen their team win the FA Cup 7 times before they're 30, which is like incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it, really? And fingers crossed for a good FA Cup run this year as well. Tonight, though, it is all about Crystal Palace, and 13th time lucky, fingers crossed, for Arsene against the Eagles. Nicole's got a few stats for us.
I do indeed. Yeah, Crystal Palace had a terrible start to the season. They are currently 16th in the Premier League table. They've been playing a bit better recently, and they've drawn 1 and won 2 of their past 3 games. Their top 3 goal scorers have all scored just 4 goals each, and this fixture last season, we actually lost 3-0. So hopefully we can get a better result today.
On the sofa at home, with the blanket over my head, I think.
Well, actually, I was behind the sofa. I hadn't my fingers. I was looking through my fingers at that because that was probably one of the worst performances I've seen for us for a long time. We were out-fought. Palace were more physical than us. They had more hunger than us. So the prerequisite tonight is you've got to make sure you match them man for man in the intensity side of it. Because if you don't, the form they're in, they haven't lost for 8 games, have they? So
well, no, that's incredible, really, isn't it? And I've just been reading this. Their longest top-flight run since a 12-match stretch in October 1990 or something. So they've put an incredible run together. Let's talk about the Roy Hodgson factor. I mean, he's turned everything around because we were saying before the match tonight, at the start of the season, everyone went, well, they've gone.
Yeah, I was one of those. I watched them play the first game of the season against Huddersfield, and under Frank de Boer, they were all over the place. And it's been a bit sort of a therapy for Roy, much the same with Sam Allardyce when he went to Crystal Palace. You know, with Roy, with his debacle with England, and all he's done is he's changed his shape. He's gone back to 4-4-2, which is simpler for a lot of the players when he's struggling, and to go 8 games unbeaten from the lack of confidence they had. And I think the Chelsea game when they beat Chelsea 2-1 at home, then that made the players buy into Roy Hodgson's ideas a lot quicker. And he's got the best out of Wilfried Zaha and Loftus-Cheek. And unfortunately, Benteke's back tonight, so we'll have to keep him quiet.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? I mean, how much of a threat are those players to Arsenal? I mean, you like the formation that we've got tonight, but how much damage can Palace do on their day?
Well, you have to make sure that you keep Benteke out of the 18-yard box so you don't drop too deep. Loftus-Cheek plays on the left of the 4, but he likes coming in because he's right-footed. He's more of a central player. Then when that happens, he vacates that space. With Zaha goes into the left-hand side, and he drifts out, he makes his runs, and that's where he does his damage because he likes to get you 1v1s with his foot overs and his tricks. So again, you've got to make sure, especially Bellerin on the right-hand side, that he doesn't bomb forward too quickly and leave a big gap there where Zaha can go and attack Callum Chambers. So you've got to make sure you're a bit disciplined.
OK, fingers crossed then. Palace staying up?
Oh, absolutely. They've got too much going forward, more than the other teams down at the bottom. So you'd say the way that it's swung around is absolutely incredible. And it's a testament to Roy Hodgson and the players themselves, because obviously they've bought into him and they've started performing.
OK. Nicole was asking you for your pre-match thoughts just a short while ago. Nicole, what have you had in?
Yeah, we've had tons of great tweets in response to that question, which was, what would be your 10-word team talk for tonight's game? So lots of inspirational messages. So AFC Ty says, just win, no excuses. Come on, Arsenal, let's do it. Tomo1886 says, game starts at the first whistle, lads. Don't forget, please. Laurent VDL says, let Ozil do his magic and nothing else but win. And Welbeck King says, there's this kid on Twitter who wants a Welbeck hattie. Keep those tweets coming in using the hashtag CPFCVAFC. And you can send your emails in to dan@studio@arsenal.co.uk.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, Dan and Josh will read out your thoughts throughout the match, of course, if you email them. One person we haven't mentioned tonight, actually, Petr Cech. If he keeps a clean sheet tonight, he would have done 200 Premier League clean sheets, which is an incredible record, isn't it?
I think he has, obviously, the most clean sheets, and he has the highest percentage of clean sheets. Obviously, clean sheets, the games that he's played. So just he's considered. And then I must admit, I couldn't believe that Chelsea let him come to us, because he's still a very experienced goalkeeper. You judge a goalkeeper not only the great saves they make, but on the mistakes they make. And Petr Cech probably makes 1 or 2 a season where you look at him and think, no, he could have done a bit better than that. So there's not many goalkeepers been as consistent as what he has through his whole Premier League career.
OK, well, let's have a look at 3 things you need to know ahead of tonight's fixture, which is creeping ever closer to you. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. And we've only failed to score in 2 of our last 19 league games versus Crystal Palace, so that bodes well. We mentioned the clean sheets. London derbies, been kind to us this season. Petr could do that tonight. And there's that stat about Crystal Palace and that game last season, while we were all hiding behind the sofa. Fingers crossed for not a repeat of that tonight. Let's see how our Arsenal fans are feeling ahead of the game. We were out and about around Selhurst Park a little bit earlier on tonight.
Right, I've got a couple of Arsenal fans here. First of all, what are your names?
Josh.
Dean.
OK, so what are your thoughts about tonight's game?
Well, it's going to be a tough match, especially with Crystal Palace. It hasn't gone well last time we were here, but hopefully we can have a better game today. I hope.
Dean, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we're quite confident for tonight. They've had a good run of form lately, but I'm quite confident we'll get a result tonight. I've had a bit of a break as well, which always helps. So, yeah, I'm quite confident we'll get a result tonight, definitely.
Busy time of year for football, isn't it? As always, you enjoy coming to the football around Christmas and New Year?
Oh yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. Yeah. I enjoy the games in between Christmas and after Christmas and things like that. So, a bit disappointing not to play on Boxing Day because that's normally a really good day to go out and watch a good game of football. So, yeah, a bit disappointed with that. And obviously with the game being for tonight, it's moved our game for New Year's Eve as well. So, but it is what it is when you get the TV commitments and things like that. So yeah, we still go and enjoy it. So it's good to see it as well.
Coming to the end of 2017 now, how would you sum up the year as a whole as an Arsenal fan?
Well, I think it's a good start to the season. We've definitely progressed since the beginning of the season towards the end of the season. I would say, especially with the Chelsea game when we drew, that was a big what's the word?
Like a step forward.
Yeah, step forward for Arsenal, as we've been losing quite a lot away to Chelsea, and this year we drew. So I could definitely say that Arsenal are working better as a team and working together much more than I've seen in quite a few years. So definitely a good season start.
And finally, I just want to ask you, if I could give you one wish for 2018, both of you, what would you go for? Dean first?
To win the Europa League, to win a European trophy will be brilliant. Even if it is the Europa League, it'll still be a great achievement to win a European trophy, definitely.
And Josh?
Yeah, the Premier League's going to be quite tough. The City are way ahead, but I think the Europa League we definitely have a chance to get, so that would be great. So I also agree with him.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens with the Europa League. We return to action in that in the not too distant future. Let's get your prediction for tonight, though, Perry. Back in the Premier League, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Go.
3-1 only because Nicole wanted it, so I just wanted to always she let it slip. Palace have conceded and all but won the last 13 at home.
Yeah.
But they've scored 2 in the last 6. So and we score away from home as well. So I'm going to go for 2-1. I'm going to let Nicole have a
You've stolen my prediction instead then. Yeah. Nicole?
I was going to chuck my mic off and storm out of the room. I'm going to go with 3-1 to us. Thank you, Perry.
There you go, 3-1. I will go for 2-0. I fancy the clean sheet for Petr Cech. Why not?
Record-breaking clean sheet.
Record-breaking clean sheet. Right then, thanks guys for the moment. It is time for kickoff. Festive football finally heading our way. So let's dash away all to Selhurst Park for live audio commentary of Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Our men on the mics braving the winter chill, taking one for the team this Thursday night. Josh James and Dan Roebuck.
Many thanks and welcome back. A first trip to South London of the season and a return to the scene of perhaps the Gunners' most damning defeat last term. A 3-0 defeat, of course, to a Sam Allardyce-led Crystal Palace side. Persuaded Arsene Wenger to change formation for the first time in, well, perhaps a decade, certainly since the days of Nasri and Arshavin and co. Tonight, it's another former England manager in charge of Palace, but an upturn in form since Roy Hodgson replaced Frank de Boer means that this fixture will be just as tough as the one from the previous campaign. And Josh, given Arsenal's poor away form over the course of the term, this is a game that we cannot take lightly.
No, it's looking even more difficult than it was maybe a couple of months ago when Palace had that horrendous start to the season. Couldn't score a goal, couldn't win a game, couldn't get a point. But now they've gone on this unbeaten run and their confidence is up, and we know at home their support gets right behind them, doesn't it, here at Selhurst Park? So the atmosphere will be intense. Yeah, and we've got to turn around our away form. We need to start tonight.
Changes has been discussed already, but let's just remind you of the Arsenal formation. 3 all told. As we've explained, Mustafi, Chambers, Kolasinac all in, Maitland-Niles, Monreal and Iwobi out. Were there other options perhaps for Arsene Wenger? Do you think he wanted to return to a back 3? Could have stuck with the back 4, couldn't he?
Yeah, you were mentioning about the change of formation which was triggered by that defeat here, and then just lately gone back to that back 4. I think Rob Holding might feel a little bit unlucky because when Arsene did move to the back 3, he was the one he called upon to make up that back 3, which surprised a few people, and then had a great end to the season, didn't he, Rob Holding, and all the way to the cup final. But Callum Chambers back from his year on loan. He's had plenty of football. He's had a bit of an injury this season, but's been back in the League Cup and Europa League, so he's back in the swing of things as well. I think as well, said Kolasinac coming back in at left wing back. The manager was saying he sees him more of an attacking defender than a fullback, so this maybe suits him as well, this formation.
Arsenal line up as follows, with Petr Cech in goal, still one shy, of course, of 200 clean sheets in the Premier League. Koscielny, Mustafi and Chambers, your back three. Kolasinac, left wing-back, Bayern, right wing-back, Xhaka and Wilshere, with Ozil and Sanchez just in behind Alex Lacazette. As for Crystal Palace, just the one change from their draw with Swansea last time out. MacArthur slips to the bench. Benteke, back from suspension, is in. We've been told it is potentially 4-4-2 for Roy Hodgson. We will find out as the game goes on. We are just underway. Speroni in goal, back four from left to right of Schlupp, Tompkins, Dan and Kelly. Then a midfield quartet of Townsend, Milivojevic, Cabaye and Loftus-Cheek, with Zaha and Benteke potentially as a forward two. It certainly looks like it is 4-4-2, Josh, with Zaha alongside Benteke at the moment as we get this game underway.
Yeah, Zaha's played up front already this season, so maybe no surprise there. You know, he's dangerous on the wing as well. Maybe he'll drop in when Arsenal have possession. But at the moment, yeah, you're right. He's gone right up top with Benteke.
We are just underway. Our referee, incidentally, is Michael Oliver. Arsenal have won just one of the last 5 when Mr. Oliver has been the man in the middle. And Arsenal looking to come forward on the right-hand side. It's cleared away. And according to my stats, at least, Arsenal have never won a Premier League fixture away from home with Michael Oliver in charge. Let's hope that we can snap that run this evening. We are last on, of course, across this Boxing Day programme as it is. It stretches out over the course of 3 days. Manchester City beating Newcastle by a solitary goal last night. Of course, Arsenal will hopefully get a little bit closer to the top 4. It'd be extraordinary if we were to end the night in the top 4. It would mean a massive win here to overhaul Spurs because of their better goal difference. This is Jack Wilshere coming forward. Now it's with Mesut Ozil on this right-hand side. Ozil, angle of the box, looks towards Alexis. Now it's with Ozil once again. Ozil looking to try and jink away from Loftus-Cheek. We'll play it back towards Callum Chambers. Chambers' first start for Arsenal in the Premier League since the opening game of not this season, but last, of course. Arsenal beaten by Liverpool 4-3 at home. Callum was on the score sheet that day. Of course, he was sent out on loan to Middlesbrough, and then coming back this season to play in League Cup and indeed Europa League fixtures. But an opportunity here, and it seemingly means that he is ahead of Rob Holding in the pecking order. Let's see what Alexis can do over on the left-hand side. Can't quite control that one, and it's out for a goal kick for Crystal Palace. But nice positive start with Arsenal on the ball in the opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, just going back to the makeup of that back three as it is tonight. The manager's spoken before about having a nice balance between left-footed and right-footed players, and he likes Shkodran Mustafi in the middle there. I think it's not just a case of who are your 3 best centre-halves, it's can they fit in this system. Without Nacho Monreal there, which is, you know, he's been such a mainstay of our defence over the last year or so, he's played in that left centre-half position. So it's something new for Laurent Koscielny tonight in this back three, with Mustafi in the middle and Chambers, of course, more to the right.
Our friends at Crystal Palace has given us arguably the worst ever commentary position in a Premier League ground. We're about level with a penalty area, 18-yard line as Arsenal attack it. So for the first half, we should be okay. For the second, we can barely see the goal across to our left, but we'll do our best for you. And we're always grateful of you guys tuning in. Send us your thoughts, studio@arsenal.co.uk, if you want to send us your thoughts regarding Arsenal's lineup and shape tonight, whatever you like. We'll give 1 or 2 emails an airing over the course of the game whenever we can and the ball goes dead. Here is Mustafi for the Gunners. Now it's with Callum Chambers forward towards Mesut Ozil. Ozil looking to dart away from Cabaye. Cabaye manages to win it back. Now it's with Loftus-Cheek to this left-hand side, and Zaha. Zaha away from Hector Bellerin on the halfway line and looking to try and come forward. Wilshere is there, and it's cleared away by Mustafi, and it's out of play. I think he's the player with the most successful dribbles in the Premier League, isn't he, Wilfried Zaha? Yeah, he's a very good player, I think.
Yeah, he loves to take on his man, and he'll drift out left. Even if he is playing up front, he'll come up against Hector Bellerin, I'm sure, plenty tonight.
Jack Wilshere will win it back for the Gunners. Now it's with Alexis Sanchez inside the centre circle, inside Arsenal territory. We'll play a clever ball over to the right-hand side where Hector Bellerin will pull it back. Now it's with Alexis looking to try and leave it for Ozil. Back towards Alexis inside the penalty area, but it's cleared away eventually by Crystal Palace towards Loftus-Cheek on this left-hand side. Benteke calling for it, so is Zaha. Here is Zaha. Wilshere looks to get back goal side, and then eventually Milivojevic will play it back towards Loftus-Cheek, and now Cabaye on that left-hand side looking to get to the byline. Good purposeful run by the Frenchman, gets the crossing, cleared away by Mustafi, Ozil will try and control, but he can't. And Crystal Palace have it once again. Dan with a big diagonal, that should be comfortable for Petr Cech. Cech will be hopeful for that clean sheet that will just inch him towards that 200th and, of course, extend his own Premier League record.
Yeah, you wonder if that sort of hangs over a goalie, like a goal-scoring milestone hangs over a forward, because I know you think about it, he likes his stats, Petr, and he was mentioning about this weeks ago. He's on the horizon. He knows exactly how many he's got for each club. So it's definitely in his mind.
Am I right when he came to the club and we were talking about clean sheets, he had a different number to us? Is that the stat?
Yeah, there's whether
there's a
if
bit
you
of confusion about it.
Yeah, I think it's whether you start a game and don't finish it, whether you get a full clean sheet, whether you have to play the 90 minutes. I think there was some confusion there.
Let's see what Arsenal can do here. This is Lacazette, edge of the penalty area, tries to force it forward towards Kolasinac. It's cleared away, and Zaha's on the move, and we know he's quick. And Cech is outside of his penalty area to nod towards Chambers, who nods it back towards Cech. Cech for Mustafi. The Crystal Palace fans are urging Benteke to close down a little bit quicker. Never quite sure what to make about Benteke. Obviously a good performer, but seems to miss an awful lot of opportunities, and missed that penalty, didn't he, infamously for Palace just a couple of weeks ago. But nonetheless, he's going to cause Mustafi and Co a little bit of problem, you would have thought.
Yeah, and he's a focal point of their attack, isn't he? He'll be the one who won't be expected to veer away too much from his centre-half.
Zaha coming forward on the left-hand side, up against Chambers, edge of the penalty area, tries to shuffle it wide to Benteke, but the radar was off and the ball just dribbles out of play. And Petr Cech will take a free kick, a goal kick, I should say, for Arsenal. So no goals here. Last year, of course, Crystal Palace running out 3-0 winners. Goals from Townsend, Cabaye and Milivojevic, a late penalty from Milivojevic. 1 or 2 emails that have come in already. Lars from Denmark says, Gunners, come on, let's get 3 points, 1-0, maybe 2-1. That would be nice. Happy New Year to all at the club, says Lars. And Matt's been on, says, of course, 3 points. Not a fan of the transfer window, but should go for Icardi of Inter. That's Matt Bain, who's in Delmar, New York. Yes, a lot of goals for Inter this campaign for the Argentine, who's sort of been frozen out of the national team picture. He grew up in Spain. He's only made a handful of appearances for Argentina. Here is Loftus-Cheek for Crystal Palace. Milivojevic towards Schlupp on this left-hand side. Wants of Leicester, of course, and will chip it forward, looking for the run of Benteke. Gets there ahead of Chambers. And then the challenge comes in. The ball spins back towards Wilshere. Wilshere does well against Zaha. The Palace fans not too happy about the decision. Now it's with Granit Xhaka, and eventually to Kolasinac over on that left-hand side. Xhaka short for Wilshere. Xhaka once again. Right flank is bared in, just 10 yards inside the Crystal Palace half. It's back with Granit Xhaka, and now it's with Koscielny. Koscielny forward to the left-hand side in Kolasinac. Kolasinac back towards Alexis Sanchez, who will come infield away from Cabaye, and then plays it forward for Xhaka, taking up an advanced position. Now it's with Mesut Ozil. Ozil central, 30 yards away from goal. Here he is once again, clever for Alexis Sanchez. Edge of the area, steps away from Dan, can't pull the trigger. Chambers wins it back and still goes forward and belts it towards goal. Might get another opportunity to let fly here, but Schlupp was in the way. Good persistent play here from Arsenal. This is bared in on the right-hand side. Can he get the cross in? He can. It's cleared away by Dan. But that was nicely done on more than one occasion from the Gunners.
Yeah, Callum Chambers really got hold of his shot, didn't he? I'm not sure if it was blocked at such close range. I'm not sure if it was on target. He got plenty of power behind it. But nice movement again between Xhaka and Alexis, and Ozil. Quite central at the moment, Mesut Ozil.
Here is Jack Wilshere as Arsenal restart from the throw-in, square towards Mesut Ozil. Ozil takes the touch, gets away from Cabaye. Xhaka from distance just over the crossbar. Well, worth a hit potentially from Granit Xhaka, giving what I did against Liverpool, of course,